Welcome to Monday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And if you like what you hear and experience today, please remember to hit that subscribe button, click the little notification bell so you'll know when we come live. And remember to give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate the material. Today, we have Master Buddha with me, and the understanding of what really matters. What really matters. And I mean, he says it in just one word. The thing that really matters is beauty. Beauty is the one thing that really matters. He says that the only place that confusion results is in thinking that one thing is beautiful and another is not. Your confusion comes from the conceptions that everything is separate from everything else, but everything is intimately interwoven. Intimately interwoven. It is only that process of separateness that gives you the error of perception, not understanding what really matters, because you have them all separate. But every single blade of grass, every tree, every creature matters. It all contributes to the whole. Many of you are finding yourselves seeking to understand what it is you need to be comfortable, what you require in order to survive. And you think that things like wealth and money and status matter. But the things that really matter are kindness and compassion and patience and understanding. These simple functions are only simple when they've been effectively developed. To develop these functions, now this really matters. To develop those functions of kindness, compassion, caring, patience. There are so many that require development. You are not automatically given these things. These are things that you are required to learn and understand, so that you can effectively, honestly cultivate these skills. Compassion allows you to embrace those you would not normally embrace. Kindness allows you to mend communities. They're very difficult. They're the things that really matter. But many of you think that money and wealth and position and power truly matter, but those things are meaningless at the end of that body's lifetime. Those things are meaningless. And the really meaningful understanding comes from what you do not know, from this place beyond matter from which you affect it, this place where you affect this world. Now, this is something that really matters. This awareness that you are, that can distinctly, meticulously, and deliberately choose actions independent of what the mind and body would tell you, or the words of others would tell you. This place is perhaps the most important thing to consider. This place of awareness that you exist in, that acts as the governor over thought, body, and this world. But very few of you have made that distinction between this physical form, your thoughts, and your awareness. You have it upside down, most of you, thinking that your body and mind are somehow in charge of you. And this has created a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. So what is really important to you? Let us go into this. with you. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Greetings. Yes. The things that really matter. Peace really matters. Sincerity of purpose really matters. Silence. Silence really matters. In it, you can know all things. Silence matters. And even in nature, the noise is a different kind of silence that matters. But what really matters to you? And what does it afford you in this life? What satisfaction do you get from your things? What satisfaction do you get from this world when you came here to offer something to it? Remembering who you are is important. Remembering who you are is really important. As you define yourselves mostly by your bodies and by the content of your mind, it makes it very difficult for you to discern what is of real value. If you were faced with a situation where the imminent destruction of your body was right in front of you and you saw it coming, what would be really important to you? What would be really important? It is when you are faced with the understanding that life is really important. Life is exquisitely important. Can you understand that? It would be a very different life you would be living if you understood that. The value of life is the most important of all things while you are in this physical world. And how you're in this physical world is also important. But what really matters? Life really matters. And how do you understand the importance of your life? For things can be taken away from you and given to you. You can have and you can have not in this world. But what is the one element that cannot be taken away from you? If you understand that, then you'll understand what really matters. What cannot be taken away from you. Your body can be taken away from you. Your things can be taken away from you. Your family, your friends, your job, even this world can be taken away from you. It has happened. Worlds have vanished. Even in the experience of this earthly one, you've watched worlds vanish. So when your body is gone, and your things are gone, and your world is gone, what is really important? Can you consider this? If there was nothing to consider, could you understand what is really important? Things are temporary. The manifestations of matter are temporary. The existence of being is somewhat different. The existence of being is somewhat different than the conditions of matter. Being can give rise to conditions of matter whereas matter cannot give rise to conditions of themselves. So what are you being? It is a question that's very personal to each of you. What are you being? This body that we can function through is orchestrated. It is conducted. It is not able to function independent of who is being there. Your thoughts would not even exist if you were not being there to observe them. And so, who then is this one that can observe the thoughts in your head? And who is this one that can orchestrate the actions of your body? Who is this one? And which really matters? There is an order to consciousness that you must understand. But without your things, without your body, without your thoughts, what really matters? If you begin to comprehend or understand the nature of what you are, and how that is a function inseparable from all thoughts and things, the function of being is inseparable from all things, but simultaneously can function independent of them. This is how miracles occur, where the being transcends the conditions of mind and matter with deliberate intention, with a deliberate purpose. Then matter yields itself to being. The struggle that many of you face is that you think that being is subjective to matter, and so you find much confusion and want and lack and suffering because you believe that your existence depends on matter, not recognizing that matter's existence depends upon you as a being. From the silence, being from the silence. So let us see what really matters to you. My body's smiling because the feeling with Buddha is just there's just endless clear. It's just this space of clarity. There's no variance in how I perceive his energy. He's completely consistent across, I'll say, across all dimensions of being. There's no uncertainty here. I love it. Hi, Fee. Hello, everyone. Yes. What really matters? What really matters? The reason I chose to come today on this subject is because the sooner you recognize your need isn't for things and thoughts, that your need is based in knowing who you are. In knowing who you are, you begin to find what really matters. And in that, because you recognize you interact with everything simultaneously, the value of your life and how it interacts with all other aspects of itself becomes very important. It becomes very important to understand that how you as a being are interacting with yourself begins to really matter. So what really matters to you? I am what I am, as are you, to understand that. You seem to think that this short existence really matters. But what really matters is what it is this short existence affords you to know about yourself, to truly understand and comprehend, not so much as a conceptualization, but as a knowing of your being. And yes, it can be stated that how you choose to be to others, how you choose to treat a flower, how you choose to treat a dog or a cat or the air or the water is a choice of responsibility. It's a choice of responsibility, how you choose to do this from the perspective of your being. And even this will be temporary, but it is to simply cultivate your understanding of what is already evidently true from the perspective of what you are, not from the perspective of your divided mind, not from the perspective of your physical needs. These are very different in degree and intensity from the nature of what you are. You do not feel pain as your body feels pain. You do not feel confusion as your mind feels confusion. You are the awareness that can transcend this, that can orchestrate a very different manifestation. But I keep emphasizing to you what really matters, because when you come to that understanding, your world will be very different. But many of you are so lost in thinking that matter is where you learn to define yourself from, that thought gives you an accurate comprehension of what you are, and it does not. If it did, you would be all very happy right now. If your thought, as you understand it, if your body, as you understand it, were the places where you would find true fulfillment, you would find true fulfillment already. And so it is not in the body. Although you may experience joy, you may experience bliss even in this body. You may experience clarity, wholeness, conceptions that would enlighten even the simplest person in your mind. But these things are not what really matters. What really matters is you. What really matters is the you that is here to understand you. To understand that the illusion of matter, as beautiful and wondrous and as even sacred as it is still just an extension of you, not a destination of you. It would be wonderful to have you indulge your body and your mind into strict silence, to indulge your mind and body into a strict silence, if only for the sake of experiencing what it is like to be aware of being in silence, to simply be willing to enforce a strict silence, only to afford yourself the opportunity to experience yourself being undefined by mind or matter. Many of you find yourselves wondering, well, I cannot make this instrument be still for me. It is because you are lazy and have not learned how to train your mind. And you need to train your mind. And many of you keep calling forth many more of these bodies and minds in hope that you'll find one that will do it for you. There is no escape from your responsibility. No matter how many bodies you enter into or leave, until you take the position of establishing a strict silence in your thoughts and in your body, if only to get a glimpse of what really matters. This does not mean that in strict silence that you do not hear. It is quite the opposite. In strict silence, you get to hear everything and remain undisturbed by it. To be in the eye of the storm, as calm as a summer's day by the still lake. You are in the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm. In that blissful silence, aware of all else but undisturbed. Then in the eye, you gain the understanding, a little bit perhaps. Understanding of who and what really matters. This is not a self-centered endeavor. This is a liberating endeavor. For when you truly recognize the nature of your being, you would be functioning very differently, both towards the conditions of matter and mind, what you would choose to allow in your thoughts, what you would choose to allow in your body, what you would choose to do with your form would be orchestrated from a different place than the one you are so familiar with, the one you remember so often every day. To come to the understanding of what really matters, a strict silence is a very good place to start. For the question you would have to ask, if your mind is quiet and your body is still and you are still aware, then who is this that is still aware? Who is this awareness that you are? When you come to the understanding of this, it is not something that you understand, it is something you become. You are being now that which you seek to understand. And when you go from seeking to being, a different expression emerges into this world through the form. You do have a responsibility over that body that you are in. You do have a responsibility over that mind you are in. You cannot defer it to anybody. Many of you are trying right now to defer the responsibility of your mind, to defer the responsibility of your body to others. And it is not working to give you either fulfillment or happiness, is it? Fulfillment and happiness comes from responsibility and the freedom that responsibility brings you. If your mind were still in quiet for even 10 seconds and you as that being could feel the deliciousness of those 10 seconds, you would completely change your understanding of what really matters to you. You'd become more cognizant of what thoughts would have value in the space of your mind, what things would have value in the space of your body. So what really matters to you? Let us see. Let us see what really matters to you. Do you have a message specifically for me? Could you comment on my spiritual progress and what I should work on? This has already been done. I have done this for you. Be in the strictest of silence. Bring your mind and your body into the strictest of silence. Be there. And when you are completely there, when you do not seek, am I there yet? When you do not seek to define where you are, when you don't seek to define what the silence is, when you no longer seek to try and figure out what you are just being it, your question will be answered. Your motives will be very different. Your actions very clear. From a place of being is synonymous with a place of knowing. And this is very different than the process of thinking or remembering, which many of you call thinking. Many of you believe that your remembering is thinking. And this makes up about 95% of what you call your awareness. You are captivated by your past. You're not thinking, nor being aware, you are simply remembering. Establish yourself in a strict silence. and you will have your answer. Question from Skyheart. It seems the way this world is designed, we are constantly chasing our tails. Please give one good practical solution. This is very good. This has already been given to you. But again, so many of you are conditioned to seek the solution that you seek from this world. And yet you are the solution to this world. You are the solution to your confusion. You are. Not your thoughts, not your body, you. In the eye, in your eye, in the eye of the storm, you are free. Can you cultivate a strict silence in your mind? Can you cultivate a strict stillness in your body? Can you move into that place where all of the things going on around you that your senses are so captivated by, that often entraps you in its reality of understanding? Can you, in that place in the middle of the storm, be in strict silence and remain there for a time to bring back into your mind and into your expression what you are there? You will have far less to say and even far less to think, but you will know what to do. Many of you are thinking of a future that you want to have, and so you have no time to understand what it is you need to do now that would give you fulfillment. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. This is understood. He feels that from you very deeply. The place I want you to understand that this place, this state of seeking, has value only when you comprehend what it is you are truly seeking. And you will not find it in this world, but you will find it within. You may find such things as language or information that can alter your perception enough to divert you away from the illusion of your mind and your body. You may be fortunate enough to encounter individuals that will assist you in diverting your awareness from being lost in your mind and your body long enough that you can establish the remembering and the being of who you are as something that is unique and distinct and will always be unique and distinct. Being able to establish this silence is the most wondrous thing and the simplest, believe it or not. Do you have any difficulty closing your ears to someone you do not wish to listen to? Do you have any difficulty going to a place where you will not be disturbed? You need to do this with your own mind. In your own mind, you must come to this understanding. You must come to the understanding that this mind does not possess you, that you, in fact, possess it and orchestrate it deliberately. Can you do this? Strict silence. The question of how long will it take to realistically reach enlightenment is a question that is answered the moment you are there. It takes but a moment, a single moment. As long as you remain distracted by your mind and distracted by your body, it is difficult to establish the understanding of what you are as this being. The statement that I have been quoted of having said if you could but contemplate, if you could but consider what is the sound of one hand clapping. Your mind cannot answer that question, though it will try to. But if you, the one that I seek to hear me, if you understand the sound of one hand clapping, you can arrive there in but an instant. And you are there now, whether you know it or not. The journey is not without, rather within. So why is it that certain places of this world further consumes mountaintops, water elements? You are understanding that the nature of your experience is what you observe as a creative extension of your being. The transformation of matter is in direct proportion to the conditions of mind that you allow to dominate your consciousness, your awareness. If you continue to choose to subjugate your awareness to simply what you think in your mind, then only the thinking of your mind will allow you to explore or express certain specific outcomes in what you call this experience of time-space. But matter is in a state of constant change in and of itself. It is a direct result of the being, whether it is conscious of being or not. You cannot escape the nature of what you are, nor its effects, but you can certainly alter the nature of your mind and body, and therefore alter the effects in this condition you call the world. It's only from that perspective. It is only from that perspective. Many of you keep thinking that your money and your wonderful meals and your cars and all these wonderful inventive things that you've produced through your creative imaginations will give you fulfillment and satisfaction, and they can for a brief time, but a very brief time. When you have all of eternity be in bliss, if you knew who you are, then all of these things of the world will be very differently experienced from the perspective of what you are being. I'm laughing with him because I can feel the nature of what it is he's saying. When you are being what you are, what happens around you is very different. And again, I'm not doing justice to what he's saying because I'm experiencing it very differently. But that understanding of getting out of mind and out of body, he's correcting me. He's saying not to get out of mind and body, to get mind and body in service to you so that you can function without obstruction as you intended to in this world. This is not about getting rid of mind or getting rid of body. This is about utilizing mind and body in service of what you are. It is in service of what you are that mind and body takes on its most noble expression and function. But this you can only know by getting your mind and your body into that place of service to you, rather than you being subjective to it. It must be flipped around. But there are so many of you today that are seemingly hopelessly lost in mind and matter. And many of us have struggled to seek to awaken you to the simple solution to this, learning to simply quiet your mind, to still your body, to place them in service to you, not you in service to them. And so many of you are inordinately consuming things you do not need to consume, taking things you do not need, squandering things you have no care for, because you have surrendered your intelligence to an animal, and a very dangerous animal at that. for what this animal can have in its mind is not so restricted as what an animal such as a dog or a cat or a horse has in their mind. Their minds are very simple, very simple. Their soul, their spirit, very simple. And so you've created an unnecessary level of complexity, an unnecessary seduction you've been engaged into your senses, thinking that the fulfillment of your being comes through the pleasure of these things, not through the understanding of your being, which gives pleasure to life. The nature of what you are gives to life. It does not take from life. And this great imbalance is in the process of being corrected right now. This great imbalance that has taken place is being corrected. I know I should not take the vax, but are allergy meds okay? Or is this something we should be able to take care of within? If you have been carefully listening to what I have said, then you will understand that the solution that you are seeking will not come from matter alone, nor from mind alone. There is your nature, which gives rise to life. The very nature of your being is life. The very nature of what you are is life, life itself. And you move through this form. And the way in which you move through this form, yes, there are other things involved. If you truly are being in alignment with that which you are, and your mind and body are placed in service to you, then certain effects naturally follow. There's a certain order that follows from who you are to mind to matter, versus the order of matter to mind to you, where you are subjective to that. And so your decisions become based on mind and body, and not on the nature of what you are. You are asking me to tell you what is the best thing for you to do. And that is not what you need. You need to decide to know what is best for you to do. You need to know this. And the only way you can know this is to go into that place of strict silence, to cultivate a knowing of you, not a thinking of you, not a body of you, but to cultivate a knowing of you. A knowing. And from that place, you can receive absolute certainty about what is true. And your mind, when aligned to what you are, will think in alignment with what you are. You will not find yourself having to bend to your mind and to your emotions, or having to cower from them, or having to sedate them, or medicate them, or find some way to suppress them, or distract yourself from them. You will find very healthy, natural ways of restoring equilibrium to your world. I'm very specific to you, restoring equilibrium to your world, for your mind and body constitutes your world. There is this greater world that you interact with, but your mind and body constitute your world. And you must get your world in alignment with what you are being. So you may decide what is right or what is wrong for yourself. You may decide what is right or wrong for yourself. And I would simply say to you, on what are you basing your decision? What understanding do you have of this? And where did you acquire that understanding from? When inherent to who you are, inherent in who you are all answers. Inherent in who you are as a being are all actions necessary. but it has been flipped around for a long time. Many of you are trapped very deeply in the illusion of mind and body as being that which is more, matters more than you. And your mind and body matter in the sense that you can utilize them to express in this physical dimension, to articulate your noblest expression. That is what mind and body are to be in service of you for. But to understand it the other way around, to think and believe that mind and body articulate for you, well, now the master is the servant. And the master, when they are a servant, are not very happy. But when you are who you are, there is great joy. In fact, there's immense space and time for you to give limitless compassion and kindness and love and grace to others, for you will understand very differently what to say and what to do from who you are rather than from what you think. Many of you approach your day-to-day lives from what you think, and most of this thinking is from your remembering, and so you are simply remembering what to think, which is not thinking at all, it's simply remembering. When you come to that place where you elegantly sit in the repose of who you are, you will indeed find the freedom that you're seeking. And what really matters is there. And you can offer what really matters to this world. And this world will be grateful, for you will have brought to it light and life. Thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. And take one more question, guys. Yeah. Sorry, Buddha's, I'm laughing and Buddha's laughing with me. Ruth's question. I feel fine until I have to go to the doctor. Then I feel sick. What's up with this? You are asking a question that has an obvious answer to it. Can you not understand this? We understand your innocence here. We understand your innocence. So many of you have entrusted yourself to higher authorities of this world. Many of you have entrusted yourself to higher authorities of this world, not knowing that the highest authority in this world is within you. You are that highest authority. But coming to an understanding of what that means, coming to an understanding of what really matters, you find yourself in the position of knowing that one thing makes you sick and one thing does not make you sick, and you would choose to indulge in one or the other. Your choices are very simple from our perspective. Understanding your relationship over mind and body must be clear. If you are subjective in any way to your mind and to your body, then let us hope that you have been given a mind from this world that is at least tolerable, from which you can begin to define and redefine and know who you are. Let us hope that. To establish that strict silence over your mind and body, even when these irritations are in your body, to establish a strict silence over your mind and body, even when these bug bites, irritations, to establish a strict silence. Your mind and your body will not be so reactive to these things when they are put into a place of being where there are not those things to distract it. And you must offer this to your mind and body. Many of you seek to find your mind to be orchestrated or conditioned in a favorable way from this world, but you came here to articulate the freedom of what you are into mind and body, and to see how that would be in this world around you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you, Master Buddha. I want to thank all of you guys for showing up here today. This has been very sobering for me in many different ways, that realization that, strict silence. Never thought of it quite that way. Thank you for your questions, for your focus, for your patience. He hopes that you really understand, or have at least an inkling of what really matters. You really matter. You really matter. Who you are really matters. Your mind and body need to be trained to work with you. They have to be taught. You cannot drug it into listening to you. To get rid of your emotions, you have to learn to teach the mind, teach the body to be in alignment with you. Thank you again, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And much love to all of you. Have a wonderful, joyful week. Thank you for the super chat today. If you want to support this channel, please go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes, and come and join us there. We do monthly events for patrons there. And Also, I want to mention, everybody, the new schedule for our mediumship program, which begins August 28th, is now up on my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com. For those of you that want to pre-register for the mediumship program, which starts August 28th, you can go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com/courses, and you can check out what's going to happen during those courses and classes. These are life-changing courses. You're going to be blown away. Anyway, much love to everybody. Have yourselves a joyful day. See you on Wednesday. Bye for now.